Welcome to the Embodied Wisdom Podcast.
So, Miss Teal, start us off by giving us that really beautiful story of you at 22 when you had that out of body experience.
Yeah. Well, I think just to rewind it a little bit to give context on that, up until that point, I was basically just following the sheep treadmill of life as we're told to do, right? I studied AP classes, went into college, got a good degree, then realized 6 months into my biology degree that I don't want to be a biologist. And I was just left really confused of what am I supposed to do with my life? I've been on this treadmill track for so long, and all of a sudden I'm finally lifting my head up and saying, I don't want anything that I've been conditioned to be told that I want. And it was a real moment of me at a young age realizing I need to just actually take control of my life. And so I booked a one-way ticket to Thailand with my best friend, and we decided to just go travel and backpack around Southeast Asia. And I had no idea where I was going and what I was doing, but it was like the first time that I really felt like I was being intuitively guided versus mentally driven. And I think we can all relate to that, right? And I just remember my intuition telling me you need to go and take some time away from the world and just be. And I was just drawn to this 5-day silent meditation retreat with Buddhist monks in northern Thailand of Chiang Mai, up on the top of the hill. It's like so cliche. This was even before Eat, Pray, Love was even a thing. You have to climb 1,000 steps to walk up to the temple. You
Mm.
wear white robes, you donate all your clothes, and you literally sit there in silence for 5 days straight. And as an ambitious extrovert, this was my Everest to do this. But something in me was like, you need to do this, you need to do this. And up until that point, I really, really struggled with severe homesickness. Like, I know it doesn't seem like that big of a trauma or anything, but it was actually really debilitating because I didn't feel like I could escape from the connection to my family in a healthy way and actually grow into the individual that I needed to be for the world. I felt really tied into feeling like I need to stay close to home. And so this was such a radical move for me to just completely cut everything off. And I was literally having a panic attack on the plane on the way to Thailand, being like, what are you doing? You're going farther away than anything you've ever experienced before. You don't have no idea what you're doing. You're a young girl all on your own. And yet I just knew that this is what I needed to do. And the first few days of this silent meditation retreat, I mean, I'm talking, we have a cot and four white walls where we sleep all by ourselves. We wake up at 5 a.m. to the sound of a gong and we meditate with the monks all day, every day. And the first few days, my mind would not stop talking. It was just like constant chatter. What are we doing? I'm hungry. When is this over? Where do I get to travel to next? Blah, 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 blah. And then on day 3, it finally started to quiet down. And I remember I was off in this side little temple by myself, and I was just sitting there, and I could smell the incense in the air, and it was like a dewy morning. And all of a sudden, I just felt like my soul was starting to rise up outside of my body, like a hot air balloon, just pulling up out of my body. And it floated up probably about 10 or 15 feet up into the air and just hovered there and looked down at my body. And I just got all of these visions of like this diamond essence and this purple and white light. And it was so phenomenal, Tammy. I can't even put it into words. And these are the kinds of experiences that I feel like near-death experience people share when they're in a coma, but I wasn't in a coma. I was meditating. And then just as kind of I was having this whole experience, my other awareness kicked in and I shot back down into my body just to make sure I hadn't died because I was just like, what was that? But I was so deep in myself in that moment, like in myself, in my soul, in something bigger than me.
Mm.
It was it was truly enlightening. And at 22 years old, as a young girl, all on my own, out in Thailand, I just felt like I had come home in a way that I could never describe to anybody. And it gave me such a deep, profound understanding of how our body and our mind and our soul all work together and how each entity has its own wisdom and how we really are these energetic beings, this frequency of love and light energy. And I took that with me, and it has influenced every other interaction, every other opportunity, everything that has transformed into my life up until now.
Yeah. So you were telling me that you didn't really have very much trauma, growing up, and yet leaving your body kind of feels like it would be traumatic at 22. And it kind of does feel, because there's like, you know, there's like what someone would call like small scale trauma and then larger scale trauma. But what I've noticed in my clients is that a lot of their big traumas didn't even come from their lifetime.
Mm,
Epigenetics wise, it actually didn't even come from them. So when we get to
mhm,
we take their fear all the way down to its origination point, it's not in their lifetime. So here we sit in these bodies where we have all this trauma stored up to seven generations back on both mother and father's side in the cells of our body, in our DNA.
mm,
So it's just interesting because a lot of people will a lot of I've had a lot of clients that say that to me, like, I haven't had a lot of trauma. And when we start tapping into it, it turns out they have a lot of trauma. They just don't have the memories that go with
mhm,
it until we
mhm,
really start to go back. But
mhm,
so here you are, you're 22, you're out of the country, experiencing something you've never experienced before, and it does sound traumatic. Like here you
mm.
are, homesickness, and then you're told to be quiet. That's so uncomfortable. Not only be quiet, but sit there with your eyes shut and turn your mind off. Like that
Yeah.
is one of the most challenging things that a human can learn.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yet I'm dying to know what it birthed for you. Like what came next?
Yeah. Well, like I said, it just gave me this deep understanding of my own soul, first and foremost, of coming home to myself, coming home to God in a way that I never really understood before. And from there, it really started to interact the way that I related to everybody in my life and every person that I met, because I started being able to see people as just entities and extensions of love and extensions of the universe. And it opened up my heart a lot more. It allowed me to have this deeper connection to I'm worthy beyond worthy of everything and anything I ever want, right? Because that's such a core wound that I think every woman, almost every person, I feel like needs to go through as a rite of passage of learning I am inherently worthy because we all are extensions of God frequency. And so that learning that at such a young age really helped me step into the next chapters and phases of my life, where then I ended up going and working in the corporate world in Silicon Valley, and I ended up starting my own company, and I attracted my husband and now have two beautiful kids and have this beautiful flourishing business. And all of this has been able to ripple out because of this deep core anchoring of I am worthy, I am an extension of all that is.
And did you feel like you had to do, for so many of us, we feel like we're on our healing journey forever, for a long time, right? Did
Yeah.
you feel like like for you, it was just so instant? You had this instant pivotal moment, which I hear with a lot of near-death experiencers, where they almost sort of bypass the spiritual, or sorry, the healing road that many of us have to walk on, which mine was long, but
Mm.
also I was very stubborn too. I tell people all the time, like, do not do it my way, the long, slow way of like having to do everything myself and not hiring someone to say, hey, take me to the places that I don't have the balls to go to alone. I really feel like that is a shortcut, but it seems like for you and a lot of people that experience these EMDRs, um, they have like this shortcut experience where they get to see, hey, you're not that body that you're in. That's a piece that's the vehicle that you get to explore around in and have this experience of three dimension, but that isn't who you are. It kind of showed you that bigger essence. You are a soul in that physical body, and that's how you could rise up. What is the you that rose up out of the body and was able to look at it?
Mhm.
Like for me, that's like the spirit or soul of what you are, that eternal essence of you, that the I am. So talk about when you
Yes.
say the I am, what are you referring to?
Yeah, I'm referring to that essence of love that is the universe, that is all inherent in every one of us. But I think so many of us get so disconnected from that light. And when I really relate it back to the homesickness, the severe homesickness, I'm realizing now that that was just a feeling so disconnected from my home base of me, feeling so needing to have that external, resource giving me that feeling of safety and love and connection because I was feeling so disconnected from it within me. And yes, maybe I sped up my healing process through that experience, but I think more than ever, I feel like my soul lifetime and my journey in this lifetime is to be that beckoning shepherd and that mentor guide, that priestess calling women forward to their healing, almost as if I've already done a lot of that healing in my past lifetimes, and my role now is to be the one to hold the space, to help women have that experience for themselves, to come back home to themselves in their soul, without having to go meditate with the monks.
So how do you teach them how to do that? How do you draw them? How do you draw them back?
It's such a beautiful, beautiful transformational experience that I hold space for. I have a whole program that I call Soul Rebirthing because that's what I really feel that it is. It's giving women the opportunity to say, you know what, I'm ready to fully rinse away the layers and rebirth myself into the next version, the higher, more aligned version of me. And for me, it starts with really looking at the layers of what has been keeping us feeling blocked from being in touch with that soul essence.
Mhm.
I think about it as like we all come onto this earth as these beautiful little beings of light and love energy, right? You think about a baby and they're just this pure essence of love, light, God energy. And then over time, we have experiences, we have trauma. And I think about it as like layers of mud that just start to block and cover that light that is us. And if
Mhm.
we don't take the time to love on that, to heal that, to get the help, to let it go out of our visceral cells in our body, then
Mhm.
it just starts to really start to strengthen and become rock solid as part of our core essence. And it just starts to disconnect us from ourself. And then the mind comes in and says, well, we just got to survive in this world. So let me figure out how to do everything. Let me get in there and get control. And that's when the overthinking and the anxiety and the stress and all that starts taking over. And that's where a lot of us are living, is in this
Yep.
place of so many dark, heavy layers of stuff that's just been living in our vessel, in our psyche. And our mind is just on overdrive, like we just got to survive. And so the way I help women is to first just understand what are those layers of mud and then lovingly help them rinse them away over time.
I love
And
that.
it happens. It happens over and over again. And women have come to me, and within 4 months, they can literally cross off every single one of those layers saying, this does not resonate for me. This does not, I don't feel this anymore. I don't believe this anymore. And that to me is the actual proof that yes, this works. This works. I have a repeatable pattern that can actually help women out of their suffering and into their potential power, into their infinite power.
Yeah. So how do we crack away at those layers?
Yeah. The majority of these layers, it's a lot about awareness first, I think, and this is the work that you do too, with women too, right? Is helping them to uncover what is even there. Because I think a lot of times we don't even realize what's underneath the surface. We're just operating, we're doing things, we think we're doing the right things, and then the universe brings you the same kinds of experiences over and over again. And I think that's the first part, is identifying where is that pattern that's showing up consistently in your life. If it's in a relationship, are you attracting the same kinds of men over and over again? Or if it's finances, are you finding yourself in the same kind of earning level over and over again? The universe is constantly mirroring you where your frequency is at and where your opportunities for growth are at. And so once we can start bringing more awareness to these patterns, that's when we can start finding those little nuggets of core beliefs that are in there, beliefs that are either serving us or not serving us. And then it's about chipping away at those beliefs
Yeah.
and rewriting them.
Yeah. So how do you do it? I'm curious about your system for that. Because there's so many beautiful, creative people out there that are just taking on the work that we do just in a completely different way. And I'm just
Yeah.
fascinated by your process. How do you tend to find those beliefs? Hey, Tammy Cox here. If you're ready to stop repeating painful relationship patterns and finally create the love and connection you deserve, there is a way. Click the link in the description to schedule a call with me, and let's talk about what's really holding you back. Now, back to the show. For your ladies, for your clients, and then how do you chip away at them? Like, how do you break them down?
hmm Majority of the time, when I really ask a woman, what are the voices in your head? What is being said to you over and over and over again? They can list them off. They probably just never have before.
Yeah.
And isn't it funny? We don't even realize how much these voices are controlling us. We just have them in our head like a monkey mind just chattering. But when we really stop and say, wait, what is it actually saying to me? You can bullet point them out. And for the ones that you can't bullet point out, we talk about it. We pick an area that you are getting stuck in and we just start to talk about it and we just start to get curious about what's there, what's there, what's there. And we can usually find it with a little bit of curiosity and digging and in a loving way. And then from there, I usually take women through a beautiful guided, hypnotic meditation to be able to really look at that fear and ask it, is it serving you? Is this something, why is it there? Why is it there? Is it protecting you? And if so, thank you. Thank you for protecting me. Are you ready to let this go? Are you ready to choose the real truth that is you? And I think one of the most beautiful things is when I ask women, do you feel that this is true? Even though in some level in their mind wants to keep trying to prove that it is true, deep in their heart and soul, they know that it's not true. And we can talk through that and help them understand and figure out why that's not inherently true and what is their real truth. And
Mm.
from that point, you take your power back and you take away that belief. It's beautiful. I'd be curious to know your approach as well. But yeah, that's kind of the way I move through it with women. And it's in one session, you can truly shift away out of these patterns and these beliefs. And it's incredible to watch.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah.
my approach isn't all that different. It's just identifying first the pattern, same as you. Let's identify the pattern that we would really, really like to change. And then following it back to what I call the seed, which is, the belief that was created in the subconscious mind. And usually it's an event.
hmm
So I have them tune into their body, tune into the place it's stored. They place their hand on it. I ask them the color. We look at the picture that is reflecting out from that color, and it is it's an image of the first time they felt that emotion. So then we go back and we do something very similar to you where we face it. We she gets to let that younger version of herself have whatever she needed to. Did she need to be heard, seen? Did she need to be felt? Did she need to be held and told that everything's going to be okay? What does she need from you? And it's basically a reparenting because I
hmm
think that is such a huge part. Like most of us, our parents,
Yeah.
bless their hearts, they did the best they could with what they had, but they did not fulfill all of our needs. And the truth is, it's not really up to them to fulfill our needs. And so we get to go back and give the younger versions of herself exactly what she needs in real time. And as we do this, we start to heal these parts of ourselves. Because I think a really big part of the reason why those beliefs are still hanging on is because there's like pain attached to the belief around the memory. And so when we pull the pain out of the body, all of a sudden, it's just this thing that's like no longer tied to me. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
huh,
Yes. It's a
it's just,
seed.
yeah, it's
Yes.
just the seed that was just planted
Yes.
there. And so yeah, it's really beautiful how we can play with all these modalities, knowing that yes, our soul is merged with this body. There's a connection there, but this body isn't us. And once this time in this meat suit is done, we can rise up again and do some other cool stuff. I don't know. Uh,
Yes.
some other cool
Yeah.
stuff. I'm not quite sure, but I hear are you into anything around like past life regression stuff?
I'm all about it. I haven't dove into that world though very much, no. But going back into the wisdom of the body and like giving that body the opportunity, I've really tapped into that so much, even just in the last 3 months, of giving birth to my daughter. Um, I've
When?
had, yeah, huh?
When did you give birth to your daughter?
3 months ago.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
right. You look like you just like took a deep breath in and you snapped back. Oh my gosh. You're one of those.
I, it's the power of the mind, I swear. And intentional eating and exercise and all that good
Yeah.
stuff. But
Yeah. That too.
but no, I mean, I had two such radically different births. I did natural births with both my son and my daughter. And the first time with my son, it was a traumatic. I should totally talk about that as a traumatic
Yes.
experience. Oh. Like I've never experienced trauma. That was extremely traumatic because I had so much PTSD after that birth, and yet something in my soul told me, you're doing another natural birth. And I was like, oh, hell no, I'm not. Wait, am I actively choosing to put myself through that again, that experience? It's like someone having something happen to them that's traumatic and then choosing to go back to that scene and have it done again. My body was like, ah, do not. Actually, it was my mind. It was my mind. It was not my
Yeah.
body. It was my mind. But it was the most radically empowering thing for me to be able to move through that experience, go back, have another natural birth, and have it be a completely magical experience. I mean, I was saying I wanted an orgasmic birth. I don't know if that's actually humanly possible to orgasm your birth, but
That would
it,
be great.
it,
That would be
I was like, if
great.
anyone can do it, I can do it. Didn't have an orgasm, but it was so smooth. It happened in 2 hours from start to finish. And it was a water birth. It was just, she literally slipped right out. Like it was so beautiful. And I really attest that to the work that I did to give the power back to my body, the wisdom back to my body.
Mm.
Because the biggest learning I took from that was the first time around, my mind went into overdrive, as we do. It was freaking out. It was feeling pain. The mind was stressing. It was closing down. It was constricting and fighting it. And it was miserable for me for 18 hours.
Yeah.
And the second time around, I processed through it. I moved through my fears. I saw the beliefs. I did all the beautiful work that I helped my women through. And I went into that second experience. I envisioned exactly what I wanted to have happen, how I would move with the pain. And it just completely shifted things. And I gave the power back to my body. And I really, from that moment, had such an awakening to, wow, there's so much wisdom that my body has been trying to tell me that I even still up until this point was not fully giving it its space to shine. So yes, I am all about the wisdom of the mind, the body, and the soul. There's three entities.
Yeah. Oh gosh, girl.
Yeah.
I had an epidural all 3 times.
And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm really using
I
that as like
I
it
know
was such a soul
every
moment for
time I
me
was
to
like, oh,
grow.
I'm gonna do it all natural. And then they didn't want to come out.
Oh.
And then I had to get induced. And then it's like the pain from getting induced is just like I was a weenie. I wienered out, but also I was not in this work. So I wasn't even there.
Yeah.
But if I were to do it now, I
Mm-hmm.
would, yeah, I would do like hypno birthing or
Mm-hmm.
whatever they call it,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Yeah.
really, yeah, I would totally do that if I were to do it now. But yeah, giving birth is traumatic, for a lot of people died doing that back in the day. I mean, yeah, and it's a really big trauma. I've learned this for the baby. It is when we come into the world through great trauma and we exit the body through great trauma.
Hopefully not. Hopefully,
I
I
mean, but
really
trauma
see
isn't a
like
bad thing.
my
Trauma is,
daughter, my
yeah.
daughter did not. I would challenge you on that, that she did not come into the world with trauma.
Well, I think that the new earth that we're bringing forth, it's not going to be the same system. But it's definitely the system we're coming out of is we
Yes,
come in through
it is.
trauma. Could you imagine squeezing through? I mean, you did it, but you don't remember because it would be horrifying to remember. It feels like death as we're coming through that portal. But it's also I think trauma is a gift. I think it's very beautiful. It's just we don't give it the credit. Like it's just here to keep us alive, to sustain our life. However, we don't have to keep the pain attached to the traumatic event. So
Mhm.
I think it's the resistance to the pain which makes it so challenging. It's the
Mhm.
resistance, because what I have my clients do is I have them go into it. We're not going to resist the pain. The pain's sitting there in your body. We're going to heal it, but you got to feel it to heal it. So I want you to go all the way to the very center of it. And I want you to turn up the volume, and I want you to dissolve it. And studies show that it only takes 90 seconds of feeling it before it's dissolved. And so that's what I do. When I'm in physical pain, I go into it and I expand it out, and it just dissolves.
And that's exactly what this birth was. That's exactly right.
Beautiful.
It was incredible. Yeah. And it is the body's like most innate way of saying you can do hard things. You can move through pain. Hmm.
Yeah, when you don't resist it. And
When you
that's
don't
what they
resist
see
it.
too with the
Hmm.
contractions. If you resist the contraction,
Hmm.
you're going to feel that pain way more
Hmm.
strongly than if you just surrender and relax each muscle into it.
Exactly.
And
And
that,
that's exactly what my whole business is called, Relax into Love. And it is literally about going into these fiery, scary moments and relaxing into it and releasing it from viscerally, from your subconscious, from your body, so that you can deepen into a place of unconditional love for yourself and with the partnership.
oh, I love that so
It's
much.
powerful. It's
So do you
powerful.
work much in a partnership? Is any of your work dealing with partnerships?
Yeah, so I have two main areas I support women in. One is deepening into this soul rebirthing and deep self-love and healing yourself. And then the other part is embodying that innate feminine energy within us and how we really be able to build healthy foundations for a partnership, for long-lasting partnerships. So, how do we manage emotions in a healthy way? How do we navigate conflict with our partner in a healthy way? How do we be able to just rebalance the scales so that we're not overshadowing our men by being men in the relationship and allowing ourselves to relax into our natural feminine side as well and letting them be the men in the relationship. So yeah, it's such beautiful, fun work that we all get to explore and
Well,
encourage.
that's a whole nother thing too, girl.
It is. They're
Relationships.
two full, very different approaches, or not approach, two different topics, but they go hand in hand a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
times. Hmm.
Um, They absolutely do. And what are your thoughts on this new world that we're entering with the rise of the feminine and how it's just really throwing our relationships there? I mean, with women that are on their healing journey, even in the coaching field, in the shamanic works and the healing arts, there's a lot of women that are single right now. They're saying to me, "Hey, I've been doing my work. I've been showing up, doing the things. Where's my match?" You know,
Hmm.
and I'm just finding it very interesting that I'm seeing that a lot lately.
Hmm. Yeah.
What do you think? What's your take on that? What do you think that's about?
This is a huge download that I received as kind of a big piece of what I'm here to help the women of the world do is to rebalance the pendulum because I feel like this rise of women's empowerment has been so beautiful over the generations, and we've really stepped into this place of finally having somewhat equality with men
Yeah.
in all the realms. And yet, what it's now having is almost a backlash. And yeah, you've alluded to that too. And I see, especially the feminist movement is almost like we don't need men. You know, men need to just disappear. We're just taking over the world. You need to worship us. And that to me is not healthy either. To me, there needs to be a balance where we're not the 1950s housewife and we're not the extreme feminist. We are coming back into a place of the divine feminine, of being anchored in our power while still being graceful and kind and soft and loving and all of those beautiful qualities that is inherently the feminine energy. And our men are really needing this from us. And I've been talking to men a lot, and they are just so grateful when I start telling them what I'm helping women to do to help them become more feminine again. They say thank you because I'm seeing these women and they look like women, but they act like men. And I don't know where I fit into this relationship.
Mm.
And I say, I know we need to rebalance those gender roles. Not to say that we have to put anyone in a box, but just being able to bring balance and harmony back into the relationship. Because as women, when we are in that place of power, it oftentimes is held on the outside and comes off almost as energetic spikes to men, where we're just like proving ourselves. We need to show who we are and don't mess with me, especially if we've had trauma. It's like, don't come close. You can't take advantage of me. But when we hold that on the external, it is, yeah, it's spiky energy, and men they don't know how to relate to that. But there's a way to be able to invert that strength where we bring that strength on the inside. We know our value, we know our boundaries, we know our worth. We're not tolerating things. We trust our intuition. We're not going to get ourselves into situations like we did in the past because we've done our healing work, but we still can relax in our energy around men. We can still let them see the lightness of us, the radiance of us, still make them feel safe to drop into their heart space. And from that place, we evolve relationships into the next level. And that's what I'm really beckoning relationships forward into, a
Beautiful.
rebalancing. I'm a Libra. I can't help it. I'm all about balance.
Oh, my oldest daughter's a Libra. Yes, I love it. She really helps the household.
I'm like constantly redesigning the house and feng shuiing things. My
Oh,
husband's
are
like,
you?
again?
No, yeah, she definitely balances us out energetically in this house. Because, yeah, we got some crazy stuff happening. Yeah, I love your take on that. I mean, it's a topic that I hear about so much, and probably just because it's something I'm really curious about everyone's take on it, and people are just all over the board with
Mm,
that topic. They are just
mm,
all over the board, but I am hearing that a lot where the feminine needs to soften and she needs to be more allowing and she needs to be more in her power. And I totally see that. And then I totally see that she might not yet be there. But and then I also feel that men need to start on their healing journey to so that both of them can show up in their wholeness because I'm seeing that both of them for the men I know that are doing the work and they're like, hey, where's my lady? And I'm like, I know them. They're everywhere in my world, but they're not coming across their table. And I think it's just not quite ready to merge back together in the same way. I think there's still a little bit more work to be done there in order for the two of them to be so full of themselves that they're not looking for another person to add to their life, but they're being that wholest version and they're holding that long enough and they're not like, hey, but where's my soulmate to complete the puzzle? It's like the puzzle's complete, darling. Is
yes.
absolutely and totally complete with you. But like you're looking to make these extra missing pieces. It's like that's all you. You know what I'm saying? It's like being, because that's what it was for me when I healed myself. Even though I had a very toxic relationship with my husband for many years, when I healed myself, all of a sudden he's a different person standing in front of me. And I'm
Mm,
like, who are you? He
mm,
didn't change at all. It was me. And
mm. Yes.
the lens in which I saw everything and perceived everything, the prescription changed. So all of a sudden I'm like, oh, who are you? You know, it's like that's what it gets to be because you're magnetizing everything to you. So you don't even need new people there. You could
That
just,
is beautiful. Yes, yes,
oh,
absolutely. Or those people stop vibrating to that same frequency that you're now at, and they just fizzle themselves away and make space.
and that happens
And
too with some of my
you don't have
clients.
to do anything about it. Yeah,
Yep,
absolutely.
that happens too. And it sometimes there's this uncomfortable moment in between where she's going up and he's like, what am I doing with this? Which happened for me too. When I started my healing journey, my husband's like, oh, where's my fight buddy? When am I gonna fight
Yeah,
it out? And
yeah.
so there's that uncomfortable area where it's not, but all in all, everything works out when we just go deep within us and we don't make it about anyone else first,
Yes, yes.
you
I
know?
remember too, there being such a moment. There've been many moments actually in my husband and I's journey. We've been together over 10 years, and where, we met and we aligned over certain values when we were in our 20s, and then you grow. You grow as a human, you grow as a soul, and it felt like we were growing apart, but we were still together, and I was worried that it was going to destroy our relationship, but I found that we were able to kind of grow alongside of each other because we both had done our healing work. We were keeping ourselves in that independent and interdependent relationship. We didn't need each other, But what happened was that were able to end up growing alongside of each other and then meeting back at the middle again as higher evolved versions of ourselves, which sounds like kind of what you were talking about.
Yes.
And then doing it again and doing it again. And it's happened maybe 4 or 5 times in our lifetime already. And I'm seeing it as like this DNA double helix that's just continuing to evolve. And I'm calling it, I mean, it's probably already out there, but I refer to it as like an evolved partnership. It's evolving. It's continuously elevating as we elevate ourselves. And I think that is the secret to how you really never have a relationship die or dwindle or lose that spark and that passion because you're committed to just continuing to be the best version of you and knowing they're continuing to be the best version of them. And sometimes you're going to grow alongside each other and sometimes you're going to be right in sync with each other. And if you cannot make that mean something about the relationship, but honor it and make it as an incubator, it's the most transformational thing I've ever experienced.
Oh, I
I think
like.
relationships are here. Yes, we don't need them, but when you can come into them from a healed space, they get to embellish life to an even bigger level and to an even higher level than you can do on your own.
I think that they are the greatest teachers
Yes.
because, when you're in a partnership and you have the same money, you have the same bed, you have the same closet, you have the same children's, you share everything. There is no closer mirror.
Yes.
Your kids are a
Yeah.
close mirror, but you have this automatic love for your kids. So it kind of gets clouded by that. But a partner is like very close mirror. So I think it is our greatest teaching tool. It
Yes.
is the most challenging thing, and it is of the utmost value because there is no other way that you could grow that I know of, besides maybe a near-death experience or out of body, that'll get you. But just the challenge of being in a partnership is just facing you and all your shadows
Yeah.
all the time. And
And
so
starting a business, I'd say too. That'll do it.
you got me there, starting a business too, facing those shadows. Absolutely. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I've enjoyed our conversation so much,
Me
Teal.
too,
Thank
Tammy.
you so much for
Yeah.
coming on. Please tell everyone where they can find you and all your good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me on Instagram at Teal Elisabeth underscore. That's Elizabeth with an S, not a Z. And tealelisabeth.com with my website. And I've got a special little free downloadable meditation if anyone wants to be able to just relax into love and get a taste of my energy. You're welcome to download that as a little free gift.
Okay, can I have all those links? I'll
Yeah,
put them in the show notes
would love to.
so that everyone
Absolutely.
will have a easy click there.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for coming
amazing.
on.
I'm so glad we got to chat, Tammy, and I appreciate all this work you're doing for the world. It's so valuable and so important.
Yes, you too,
I feel like
darling.
we're just sisters in this journey of supporting others. It's beautiful. I
We're
love this
solstice.
if you can call it an industry, it's not even an industry, but it's so beautiful because we're all here with the same mission to just bring more love to the world. And what no better cause than that.
I know. And I love doing this with other people. I would never want to do this alone.
Yeah.
Like be in the crazy mix. I have some people that don't understand why I would ever want to go into someone's, shadows with them. And I'm like,
Mm,
there's no greater honor in all the world that they trust me to go with them there. Like that's what I feel like I came here to do.
yeah,
So
absolutely. What a
if I
great
didn't
idea.
have a soul sister like you, where we could literally just hold each other up as we're holding up all of our ladies, I feel that to be, I feel so privileged. That's why I started this podcast is like, I need to connect with you.
Mm,
I need to connect with people like you so I feel that support because
mhm,
this fills up my cup.
mhm,
I feel like when I'm pouring into other people, when I'm doing my sessions and my work
mm.
with other, that's me pouring into them. And then I feel like this is me getting poured into by,
No, yes.
so
We could talk about this all day long. It is.
totally, right?
Yeah. Thank you, Tammy.